I'm Alanna Arrington, and I'm born and raised in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's a beautiful town, and I'm a model.
So the model part, when did that happen, and how did it come to pass? When did the light bulb go off that, hey, maybe I can do this?
So I remember growing up in middle school, they would have you sell those little magazines. Like you go to door and you'd get chocolates or whatever. You'd sell magazines. And so I bought a subscription to 17, and I remember seeing these girls come on, and I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. I think every girl has that dream of like, I want to be on a magazine cover. And then my parents actually knew an agent who had gone to New York and Paris and done the whole thing, and so they contacted on Facebook when I was like 12, still had braces and everything, and they were like, hey, our daughter really is interested in modeling, like, do you think she has a chance? And they were like, let's let her grow up. So fast forward, I met them at what they call like an open call casting here in CR at Clicks Photography. And I walked in, me and one of my best friends walked in as like a joke. We were like, okay, like we'll just get to tell all the boys at school like we were models, like this is good, everybody's gonna eat it up. We weren't thinking it was gonna be anything crazy. And then we both signed, we moved to LA, and then from LA we moved, I moved to New York, and it just took off from there. And I kind of say is like it started as just like a fun hobby, and I was able to build it into a career, which has been great. But it's just like anytime something gets thrown at me, I'm like, let's do it. Why not? Like, it's fun. I'm young. It's fun.
So you're having a blast doing that.
Yeah.
And
yep.
It just keeps bumping your chain. No, it just keeps bumping your chain every once in a while. So I'm just going to turn it this way.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay. So kids have dreams and want to be certain things. Mm-hmm. You've got a sibling. Is she younger or older?
She's younger, 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it only the two of you? The two
yep.
Kids?
Yep.
And your dad's got some energy.
Oh
I
yeah.
met your mom, but he's got energy.
Yeah.
He's a champion of people, and he's a champion of his children.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a drive.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be something.
Yeah.
But so before you went to that audition.
Yeah.
What track were you on? I mean, go to like a school?
I was actually excelling really well in school. I wanted to be like a lawyer or a doctor. I wanted to go to Stanford. I was a bookworm. Like, I was the complete opposite of everything you see of me as a model. I was the complete opposite. A tomboy. I went fishing all the time. I played every sport you could think of. I mean, I was constantly busy though. I think that's been like the constant through my life is I'm always doing something. And so I kind of transitioned from modeling from school and everything to modeling, but it took a lot of convincing of my dad. I had to do a full like PowerPoint presentation for him of why I deserved to go and what I was going to do to make money and how I was going to be responsible and, that I wasn't going to get in trouble and all that. And I had to do this whole presentation, and then he okayed it. And I was like, yes, okay. And then of course I went and I did get in a little trouble, but I just always had that in the back of my mind. Like, I got to prove to my dad that I can do this. Like, that I'm not just, just going around and having fun, but I'm having fun with purpose. That was really important.
Where did you decide to live in LA?
So I was actually in Beverly Hills, like the heart of Beverly Hills. My dad was like, when he came to see my place, he was like, oh my God, like, I mean, like, it was like I was around the corner from the Beverly Center, and I had like it was a model's apartment, so I lived with a bunch of other models. It was nothing fancy, but I was only 15, so it was like the experience of living on your own for the first time in LA of all places in the summer, and getting to work as a model was just like mind-blowing for someone coming from Iowa. But I guess because I always just was having fun with it, I never took anything too seriously. And I think that was like an appealing thing with a lot of the clients I worked with was, like, I'm just like, I'm here. Let's make some fun. Let's make some magic. Like, and that's just kind of, again, it's always been a running theme in my life. Like, I like to show up and just add to whatever I'm doing, regardless of what it is. I mean, I could be high-fiving kids like I was today. I'm going to make it good.
So I grew up 2nd grade through 9th grade in Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Oh, so, okay. So yeah, literally, yeah, everything.
That's where I grew up.
I mean, it's heaven there.
I left because a lot of my friends, so now I'm 9th grade,
Mm-hmm.
about the age you were, and you moved out there, not to place me
Yep.
But people are starting to do too many drugs and skip too much school.
Yeah.
That's just, it was like, man, we're not being very productive.
Yeah.
I go play sports and I, you know.
I was kind of that way about Iowa. I was like, just everybody was, you know, just drinking beers and freaking sitting around playing video games, you know. Wasn't really anything like productive I felt that I was like doing, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta, you know, I felt trapped in a cage like a bird. Like I was like, I gotta get out of here.
How did your sister take it when you left?
Heartbreaking. It was actually very funny because the first time when she came out to pick me up in LA, the very first summer I stayed there, you know, I'm thinking, older sister, I've always been, you know, super mean to her, bit of a bully, making, you know, life rough. And I'm thinking, she doesn't think I'm very cool. Like, she doesn't really like me, but whatever. So she comes out with my dad. And I remember she ran up to me and like jumped and gave me this big hug and was like crying her eyes out. She's like, I missed you. And I was like, really? You miss me? You like me? And from like that moment on, we were like inseparable. So I made a deal with her when I was like, if you graduate high school early, I will pay for you to come out to New York. I'll pay for all your school. I'll pay for you to live here, but you got to focus and graduate high school early. So she graduated as a junior and hiked on out to New York with me. And I paid for her to go to school. And I was like, this is perfect. I have my best friend. We lived together and everything. It was great. And yeah, I got to kind of like, I felt like I had a shock coming to New York from Iowa. It was just like a lot to figure out and to not, you know, do the wrong thing and to make sure you're around the right people. It's a lot of work. And so it was nice for me to like have that older sister role and to be able to show her like, okay, I made this mistake here. This is what you're not going to do. Like, we're not going to have dad and mom calling us, you know, at 2 a.m. like, where are you guys at? What are you doing? I was like, none of that. You're going to be here. You're going to be on your, you know, on your mode. But yeah, she has this great job. She takes care of my skin. That's the other good deal when you're a model and your sister takes care of your skin, you know. It's a win-win, but...
Now, did you have to do a PowerPoint to convince your parents that you could help?
You know what? No, because I had been. I mean, I was... Any chance she could get away from school and come hang out with me, I was like, okay, you're coming. You know, I flew her to Sweden, I flew her to Paris, I flew her to South Africa. Like anytime she could come with me, because I always loved the older sibling role and being able to be a good example. And then to be a good example when you're traveling the world and in front of lights and cameras and a million people, that's a lot of pressure. And so I was like, I want to show her that like, you gotta be strong, confident. You can do anything then. It doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you walk into a room thinking you can, you got it.
So you mentioned trouble.
Yeah.
You had a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So I can't just let you just.
Oh, no.
Just you know, you can't sprint past that. Describe it. What's the best way to describe it?
Let's just say I had some late nights with friends where we were just trying to live this like movie of New York, like what you see in the movies. We were like, you got to do it. You got to do it. So you say you've done it. And like, it's funny now because my sister makes fun of me. She's like, you live like an old person. Like I'm in bed by 9. I'm up at 7. I go to the gym. I walk my dog. I do laundry. Like I got it all out of my system. But yeah, there was, you know, some fun nights. But I will say, made for great memories, greater stories. And I'm still here today to tell them so.
Got it out of your system.
Exactly.
I the same way, and now I drink liquid death at every party I go to.
Literally. I'm like, can I get a sparkling water with extra lemons because I want the citrusy zest? Like, that's my kick at night.
So what do you think about, you know, just the industry as a whole and where you go? Everybody sort of has to figure out how to transition. What is their move? It doesn't mean you can't still be a model.
Right.
Models who do it for a long time.
Right.
But I mean, what's kind of that challenge? You seem to like appreciate the rush and the energy of opportunity. So what?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of right now in a possible transition into more of like the acting side of things. Like I said, I really like to get on camera and just talk and entertain, but with modeling, it's a bit more reserved. You know, I don't get to have much of my personality in a photo. I don't get to speak in a photo. So I I really like engaging. I love doing a lot of charity work. So I do a lot of stuff with my dad, like you said. He gets me to everything here in Iowa. But I really want to get into acting. I'm realizing as I'm going through this modeling career that I'm way more creative than I gave myself credit for as a kid. And it's a really fun outlet for me. Like, I am kind of like Andy in the same way. Like, I have a million ideas and things, and I want to just try them all and just see what sticks. Like, throwing noodles up at a wall, like, see which one's cooked right. Like, that's my whole thing. So, I don't know. I'm also 24. So, like, all my friends are, like, just finishing out college. We're all, like, in this transition phase of, like, what do we want to do for the next, like, 10 years of our life to, like, build? Like, and I feel like I got a really early head start on it. So, I'm kind of, like, I mean, there was one point where I was like on a plane 7 days a week. So I was like, yeah, this is nice to have a bit of breathing room to like just almost like relearn what 24-year-old Alanna, who she is, what she wants. Because also when you have a lot of people telling you those things, it gets a little confusing. So it's been nice to just kind of, I don't know, just figure myself out.
Your high school and college years were basically a career.
Yeah. I mean, like I was taking final exams on airplanes to Milan. I was writing essays, on my lunch break at shoots for Vogue. Like it was intense, but I wouldn't trade it because I like the stuff that I learned just in experience, I'd say is a million times more meaningful than, algebra. But
did you finish school simultaneously with it? Where is that from?
So I switched to an online program. It was based in Colorado, but I had went to school with all of my friends since kindergarten, and I was like, I really my only thing is I want to graduate with a Washington diploma. So Dr. Plagman was the principal there, and we managed to talk him into it, and he okayed, I would take all these classes through this program, but I'd at least get to walk across the stage with my friends. And so that was the only thing that kept me really focused, because I was when you're flying across the world, you have other things you could be focused on, but I was just I want to close this chapter of my life with Iowa, and then I can fully dive into everything. And that's really what happened. When I turned 18, I was like, peace out. I'm doing it all now. And that's when I got Victoria's Secret and all of that. It just really, the whole game changed.
When your dad saw your first modeling gig where you were in a Victoria's Secret type of ensemble, what was the reaction? I mean, he's a funny guy. What did he say?
He was just so proud, honestly. I would love to say he was like, oh, God, no. He was so proud, and he took it to the point where he would go to the Victoria's Secret here at Lyndale, and when he knew that my photos would be up, he would go in and he'd have the staff take pictures of him, pointing at my photos and stuff. And I'm like, Dad, you got to tell them that you're my father, because they're going to think it's weird, this 50-year-old man coming in and going, hey, look at these underwear. And stuff. I was like, you got to let him know. And so eventually he did tell them, and they would give him the little posters and stuff so that he could keep. Literally his entire office and studio is just posters he's collected from the mall here. And so I was like, I remember when I saw him, when they came to the last Victoria's Secret show, and I walk out, and you do the last little wave and everything, and you're blowing kisses, and I see him, and he's standing up, and he's screaming, jumping, tears just falling down his face, but he was so happy, and I was like, and he goes, ah, and caught it out of the air, and I was like, oh, that's cute. But I think he's seen how driven I've been doing it, that it's he doesn't even look at it as pretty model Alanna. He looks at it as I raised a hard worker that's doing it. So I think, I don't think he sees it as anything weird, but.
Two things.
Yeah.
My daughter is a 25-year-old who does stand-up in Manhattan. So she books shows for people to come do them. So you said you want to do some acting. I'm going to connect you to my daughter because
maybe I could get into
you
some
might
comedy.
Do an open mic type of little
I
moment.
could do it.
You could do it. It gives you some material.
Yeah.
You'd get a kick out of it.
I would love that.
She's 25, so you'll enjoy talking to her.
Yes.
And she's amazing. Her name's Annabeth.
Annabeth.
I'll have Annabeth.
Yes,
That
please.
will
Yeah.
be really, really
That would
great.
be amazing. I mean, I
I'll
spend a
show
lot
you
of
couple her
time.
Instagram things.
Me and my sister spend a lot of time in the comedy clubs there, so maybe there's a chance I've seen her at some point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So now, I want to close with the Ford family and
Okay.
Rise to Greatness.
Yeah.
So they're amazing people.
Yeah.
They're partners of mine, and I love them. And,
Yeah.
And it's so funny to feel like I'm part of their family when they have all these.
Right.
He has 11 kids.
I know.
So it's massively entertaining and yet also beautiful.
Yeah.
So maybe touch a little bit on Jerry Ford.
Yeah.
On down with the family and the relationship and this amazing community.
I mean, the Fords they've been a part of my life since I was a kid. I played softball, so I was always at Perfect Game. I was always doing something. I also went to school with Andy's kids, so we were always having play dates. We were always having sleepovers. So they were always a part of like my childhood, which I think is what made this such a no-brainer. Like, yes, I will be there. Yes, I will make the time for it. Like, just knowing how great that family is. Jerry raised incredible kids, and they just continue to raise incredible kids and influence incredible kids. And I'm so thankful that I get to be a part of something that's not only influenced like my hometown and every kid that I know in my hometown, but has touched almost every place in this world. It's mind-blowing. It's inspiring. It's really, it's a blessing, and I'm just so happy I get to be a part of it again.
Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you received these avatars from this random thing that your dad sees?
I thought it was so cool because because I feel like with my job, I get a lot of people making edits and stuff of my work. It truly was one of the coolest ones I've seen. And that everybody got their own little like custom one. I'm like, this is so cute. Like, I wanted like everybody to change their profile pictures and everything, but I thought it was sick. Yeah. Awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks.